ease and peace and courage and openness and humility. Just invite us to breathe deeply together at your own pace, wherever this meets you. And as you breathe in deep, slowly exhale. That as you breathe in deep, that you are inviting self-compassion, imperfection, nature, self-love, self-forgiveness, humility, that we're inviting those things in as we breathe in deep. So let's breathe those in deeply together. And then as we breathe out compassion and courage and humility, that we move with these themes in our fire, in our joy, in our grief, in our anger, in our shame, in our pain, in all the gaps between all the imperfect words that we use. That as we breathe in and as we breathe out and spend even just a couple minutes connecting to it, that in it of itself, that our breath and our breathing and these beloved trees that help us to breathe and to be, that in it of itself is a worthiness, that our life, that my life, that your life is worthy of existence, of utmost basic needs, of food, of shelter, of belonging, of care, of fresh air, of water, of soil, of a slow and inspiring sunset, of a long and deep hug. All these things that help us to feel worthy. And so as I move, I'm just gonna share a couple. You're gonna listen to me rant, beloved humans, and I hope you know it's going to feel like judgment and swirling. I'm just preparing you because it's, I have to trust. This is my 9. If you're familiar with the Enneagram, it's an amazing tool. I find it to be an amazing tool that has helped me understand a little bit of how I'm uniquely wired on this earth. I connect the most with a 9 with an 8 wing, and so the 9 is the center of the body types, just meaning that I suppress a lot of stuff. We all do, and I have mastered that art. And so I suppress things, and I have all this, I trust most, and I center a lot of my wisdom energy, I don't mean that by my own wisdom energy, I just mean the wisdom of the world around me, what I take in, what I trust, what I source is in my guts, it's in my intestines, it's in my stomach, so the intuitive realm is everything for me, which is why it's hard for me a lot of times to form words, to write for a long period of time, to be inside of data and metrics, and all those spaces are gifts and needs, and there are others watching this who thrive there. But my friends, I thrive with these trees and the water like we all do in our own ways, and it is like my essence, it's my center. And so from that place of intuitive rumbling, the words are going to be imperfect. And I just want you to, I just invite you to move with me, not get stuck in any one thing I say, but just to move with me. I encourage that you put little headphones in your ears if you have them, or if it's a phone and you just hold it, but I encourage you to move with me, move with trees and with nature with me as you're listening. And so what I just want to offer and invite as a moving topic of dialogue and expression And this is uniquely prompted by yesterday. I was a part of just an inspiring podcast interview with a dear friend, Becca Nunziato, and she is just doing some just really inspiring deep work to just uncover a more human and healing way in each other and in the world around us. And so we talked for a good 2 hours on a lot of things, and one of the things that has still remained loud in me is this theme of worthiness. So earlier in our breath, we were inviting ourselves to seek worthiness in our breathing, in our bodies, in these micro moments where we can just pause and feel worthy because we're here, because our very breath is of value, is worthy for being seen and loved and adored and nourished. And so the things that I just want to offer related to, I want to ask us and you and me, I'm with you in this, what are we allowing to define worthiness for us? What are we inviting? What have we given our time to, our resources to, our reverence to, that is defining our worthiness? It could be material objects that we're seeking, that are, depending on where we are, real or perceived needs. The squirrel is right here, just like, I'm with you, and I hope you have snacks. I'm with you, and it's like all of us, right? I'm with you, and here's some things I would like. So worthiness, where and how are you? How are we, and how am I, and how are you? Inviting, allowing, without even thinking, without even knowing, or maybe we know, but we're afraid or we fear the work to remove ourselves from, or we don't even know how to begin to remove ourselves from or rearrange our lives around and from the very things that are defining our sense of worthiness. This could be career and reputation. This could be how much money I make. This could be how much I have in savings. This could be how fast and how efficient I am with my appointments and with my communication and with my ability to speak a certain way and do certain things and wear certain things and dress a certain way and appear a certain way and perform a certain way, and all of these things. And so in the details of the material stuff, in the details of the performing, in the details of what we wear, and there is so much color and beauty inside of all these little details. And where are we quietly, or where is the outside world quietly, but so like cleverly tying our worthiness to those things, that my humanity is worthy if I look a certain way, I dress a certain way, my relationship is a certain way, my tone is a certain way, my voting is a certain way, my beliefs are a certain way, my capacity to listen and be a doormat is a certain, like my climbing these ladders and stamping these degrees and getting all these titles, all these things, my awards. So all these things being and having precious color and precious beauty, and the gaps and the work that you and I face, that this culture faces, and I'm specifically speaking to Western culture. I am in the USA, I am in Colorado, I am in Denver. There's all kinds of filters that you can add to those realities that I'm speaking from, that I'm aching from. But there is so much around us that wants to infill, pollute, violate, hijack our sense of worthiness. Every time I flip on that TV, I am like, oh God, I am bombarded by how much is at work to define my sense of time, my identity, my way of thinking, my way of relating, my way of loving, my way of looking at who I am and how I live as a way, as purposeful, as meaningful. I think about all the mental health in my own being and in beings and beloveds in my midst that are spilling products of so much at work to define our worthiness based off of consumption, capitalistic gain, maintaining power, comfort, and control, dominating conversation and industries, top-down thinking as the way of worthy, like purposeful success. The automobile being this ultimate prized rite of passage from young adulthood to adulthood, that my worthiness to be an adult is so that I have my own car at the age of 16. That makes me, if I am without a car and I cannot afford a car and I'm out there on streets that aren't being built and designed by people who actually walk and use a wheelchair in them, I am facing constant violence and judgment and inefficiency, and my worthiness is impacted because I don't have, or I don't fit in these boxes or these expectations or these layers of producing and doing. And so I invite us into this tension, because if we're not radically challenging that tie, and I want to be clear, like, I'm not just going after cars, I'm not just going after how we dress up and do our things and our organizations and our careers and our thing. I'm not slamming how much pride and hard work it takes to get a degree and the work that, like, to show up on time and to be in these, like, I am celebrating these things. What I am challenging and calling out and inviting us into imperfectly, God help me, Spirit help me, twisted branch, tree beloved help me. I am inviting us to examine and shake and maybe break this link between those things and our worthiness. That my life, that your life, beloved, is not dependent on these structures and systems, and in many ways these orchestrated, created, and a lot of times artificial realms of human being, capital B, capital E, being, that how we move on this planet is not in and of itself defined by those things, that those are things we navigate and use, they're tools, they're movement spaces, they're things that we can show up and to express and honor. And like, I have all this stuff all the time in terms of what I wear and how I move with walking culture and how I create invitation with Patreon and these other tools to just build and invite and expand invitation. So it's all up in all of us. And what was so loud, I felt in our beautiful podcast yesterday, and what I feel so loud in me all the time, and I just wanted to put a video. I hope it's not, you know what, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But I want you and I, and each of us, with humility and imperfection, to examine, to draw sketches, like draw it out. Maybe don't make it so cerebral, like put on a piece of paper on a big old white sheet or a big piece of cardboard box that you cut up and tape on the wall, and just with a permanent marker or with a pencil or whatever you have, draw the things that represent what is tried to define, and maybe even successfully in so many ways. And I say successfully meaning like maybe unhealthy, maybe not chosen by you, maybe not human. Like, draw out these things that are trying to move into your being, your heart, your blood, your thinking, your self-critic, they're trying to get in and define your worthy, human, breathing, fragile, beloved body on this earth. Because I believe if we can do this, if we can do this work, if we can name the chain and the string and the things that are trying to tie, then we can more naturally, authentically, genuinely remove ourselves from things that not only are toxic to our own bodies, but that are so toxic for people around us, for people on this planet, for people that are outside of this more dominant white supremacy, top-down colonial container. If you're outside of that container, and I just speak, it's limited. I'm a white male. I'm all wrapped up in. I don't pretend to be apart from this. My two filters that are strong and loud and beating on those drums is my own LGBTQIA queer, colorful journey that drove me to edges of suicide based off of lack and gaps and holes of worthiness. That my worthiness was defined outside, coming in from all these different things. That to be successful, to have a sense of belonging, to be worthy of a relationship to a God or something beyond, that I have to fit in this box that has been orchestrated by a group of people that have come into a country, and I'm speaking to the USA specifically, that have come into a country and taken and extracted an already existing culture that still exists today, but has been so deeply mistreated, and then to bring people across the oceans as slaves and to continue this onslaught of inhuman manipulation, control, people separating, people superiority, people in a human separation story, people in a I am superior than you story, that those stories are so deep. They're just deep. And so the reason for this invitation around worthiness is for us to, in a more natural and organic and ground soil, like radical twisting tree up way, not just through data and facts and saying the right things and, checking the right boxes and affiliating with the right party in the line. It's like, how is there a path where you and I more naturally open and expand our hearts because we are doing the work to open and expand our own sense of worthiness as universal, as moment by moment, as breath by breath. And then when we can do that, breath by breath, then how much easier and obvious does it become to honor and protect and witness and love the moment by moment breath of another beloved, and thus the moment by moment breath and needs of all of creation, the natural world, the water, the singing stars, the things that call to us every moment of every day to pay attention, to lean in, to let go, to keep trusting, to shake things up. So I hope you hear me share these words with love. I hope you feel with me, because this is it's not a comfortable thing for me to open and share. I have gotten myself through a lot of walking and movement and practices and just creative magic. I've gotten to a place where I can trust and allow those rumblings to come out. But it doesn't mean it's comfortable. And so I just invite you into the discomfort together with me, with us, and just back to this home invitation, letting go of all the imperfect words that came out of my mouth in these last 20 minutes, that we can just honor first what moves through our mouths and our nose and our lungs. This home place of breathing as an invitation to our worthiness, our purposefulness, our humanness. So we'll just take a couple deep breaths together in humility and with open hearts, with loving hearts. Just breathe all the way in. And slowly out. That as we breathe in, say to yourself, I am worthy as I am. And as you breathe out, you are worthy as you are. I am worthy in, and you are worthy out. I am worthy in, and you are worthy out. I would love to hear how this moves in you, what this opens in you, what this triggers in you, if you are comfortable or even uncomfortable sharing. I'm grateful to each of you. I'm grateful to all of the Intrinsic Paths patrons who nourish my capacity to create openly, like a river flows in a lot of ways, like a creek and a stream rush that allow me to create in that way. Blessings.